Backchat TV. Subscribe.
He has also talked about it. That left hook is so good, and it's so long and so precise and so hard, but
From what I was made aware of, there was nothing for the fight with me and him. Again, I can't badmouth anybody, but again, when he's 38 years old, and from what I hear, it was, I think, testosterone or something like that
HGH.
and HGH. What's that?
Human growth hormone.
And to me, that's crazy. That's crazy. So unless he's found some new spices or some new herbs in the ground, some, I don't know, maybe some beetroot in the floor that he's been harvesting himself, and it's created a, I don't know. But again, it is suspicious. It is suspicious. But again, they say the fact is found in the human body. They couldn't ban them. But to me, and again, I will say this because I don't shy away from nothing. If I think something, I will say it. It's coincidence that they keep postponing fights. Every fight is the same thing. It's the same. I wouldn't say method, but it's like it's a bit of a coincidence. My fight got postponed. The Smith fight got postponed. The fight before that got postponed. Same thing when I fought Kovalev. So again, if it is cheating that's causing me to be in the position I'm in and not be world champion, again, it is it's hurtful. I train my arse off. Everyone knows me. I give my all to boxing.
What's going on, guys? It's Backchat TV, and I'm back with another video. Please, you have to excuse my sound quality. It's not going to be as good as as normal because I'm not in my home studio. I'm actually away from home, so I haven't got my mic, so the sound quality may not be as good as it should be, but hopefully you can hear me. Came across an interview with Anthony Yarde, and it was a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. He said some things, if you like conspiracy theories, he said some things in here which I thought was quite interesting to talk about, and especially coming from a man who has fought at the top level and who has fought the particular athletes that are in question. Which would be Beterbiev being one of them, but I'm actually going to talk about a few athletes which is, kind of causes a little bit of suspicion. So there was an interview with Anthony Yarde, and he basically spoke about his fight with Beterbiev and how he trained his arse off for the fight, and he didn't think nothing of it. He lost. He never made up any excuses. He never said anything about any excuses, and he took it very well. So it's not coming from a malicious place at all. You can just tell he's not coming from a malicious place or making excuses or anything like that. But he was asked, what do you think of this atypical finding that they found in Beterbiev's test before the Callum Smith fight? If they never asked this question, he would never have come up with this conspiracy theory, but they asked him this question, and he said he doesn't want to badmouth anyone, just like you heard, but there are some things that are suspicious. At 38 years old, it's very unusual. First of all, never mind your age, it's actually very unusual to have an atypical test. Now, I know a lot of people say, you can have an atypical test, it doesn't make it illegal, it's possible. Levels of growth hormone and testosterone go up and down throughout the day and stuff. All these things are kind of true. Yeah, they are true, but there is a range that we normally operate as humans, we operate within. It's quite unusual to have anything higher, drastically higher or drastically lower. Now, I know when we talk about atypical, they're talking about typical for the actual fighter. When they see a reading in the blood test which is a little bit higher than normal, they probably go back and they look at the last couple of readings for that particular athlete, and from looking at it, you could say it's kind of like the mean or the average of all of his tests it was atypical. So it seems like what they're saying is that the levels of testosterone and growth hormone were higher than they've seen in previous tests. Yeah, this is unusual. It doesn't matter if these things can be natural, it's still quite unusual. Now, I'm not saying that he's a cheater or any of the other kind of people that I'm going to mention, but there are some suspicious things that I think it's worth talking about. Beterbiev is 38 years old, going on 39. It's unusual to have higher levels of growth hormone and testosterone in your body at this age. These kind of hormones that kind of help to build muscle and build strength, they drop off after the age of 30 very quickly. So 38 to have higher readings, this is unusual. The other thing that I thought even more compelling that Anthony Yarde was talking about was he said he noticed that there was kind of like a pattern. I'm paraphrasing, but he said there was kind of a pattern with Russian fighters, a lot of them postponing and cancelling fights. And he thought that that was odd. He had a fight a few years ago now with Kovalev, and he had to go to Russia. He trained hard, he went to Russia. He lost, unfortunately, and then later on, Kovalev was popped dirty for steroids. So that was unfortunate. Not a nice feeling at all that you fought someone and then they get, steroids. You don't know how long they were taking something for. Did they, you don't know anything, but you've got a loss on your record. And like Yarde said, he was an up-and-coming, unbeaten fighter. So it means everything to him to not lose that O. And he lost to a guy who later on pops dirty for steroids. Russia has not had, let's say, the cleanest record for steroid abuse in sports. It's not something that's the first time we've ever heard of it. They've got a long history, I should say, of these kind of infringements, going all the way back to the Olympics, to the figure skating issue with certain people, gymnastics. It's happened a lot with Russian athletes, where they found the whole of the Russian team and the coaches were involved and all sorts of things. So it's not unusual. If we just go to martial arts in general, if we look at UFC, is it Ruslan Metamedov? I'm not saying his name correctly, but I think that you get the picture. The UFC fighter, he popped dirty and he got a life ban. 3 times I think he was caught. So life ban, career over. We all know about Povetkin, trained many times in Russia. Hardly ever came outside of Russia to train or anything like that. Russian speaking, everyone around him Russian. Needed a lot of translation and stuff like that. So it wasn't like someone who had extensive camps in, America or anything like that. Before the Wilder fight, I think it was, if my memory serves correctly, he popped dirty for steroids, banned substance, which is obviously why the Wilder fight didn't happen. Wilder and Povetkin never happened. Obviously juicing. And now we've got Beterbiev at 38 having this atypical test. And this thing about postponing fights. Yarde and Kovalev, that fight was postponed. The fight with Beterbiev was postponed. The fight Callum Smith had, I think, was postponed. What's that all about? What's with the Russian fighters and all these postponed tests, and then later on they pop dirty later on in their career? Is it that they're trying to get rid of these substances out of their body? I mean, and I know already a lot of people are going to suggest that, these hormones or substances that are found in the blood are naturally occurring. But that doesn't matter, because if you're going to try and be sophisticated, which I think a lot of the Russians that are cheating are very sophisticated, their systems are sophisticated, you're going to try to mimic hormones that naturally occur in the body, but you're just going to find a way to increase them. And that way you're not finding you know, EPOs and all these foreign stuff that your body does not make. You know, it's substances that your body makes, but it's increased. And there's ways of doing this. A lot of people do this, and it gets around a lot of tests. You know, and the only thing is you need a little bit of time for some of these extra hormones to kind of come out of the body. But a lot of people have spoken about this, how you can increase testosterone and growth hormone quite a lot, and without it being, you know, caught. And you just need to kind of delay the time. It has to be between certain times, I've heard, where it has to drop down to normal levels. And this would make sense, you know, with all these postponed tests. You know, they want to be sure that these growth hormone levels have gone down. And maybe that's just what happened with Beterbiev, that, you know, they saw traces of what he was doing before in his body. Now, I don't know if any of this is true. I'm a fan of Beterbiev. I was a fan of Povetkin before his, you know, infringements, drug infringements. And there's a lot of these rumors going around, even in the UFC. Islam Makhachev has been accused for taking steroids for the last 10 years or something, I heard. You know, I know that these guys haven't popped dirty or anything, but I'm just saying there are a lot of accusations around a lot of these Russian fighters. And you know, I think what Anthony Yarde was talking about is worth talking about. You know, now I've got Bivol's face up here as well, purely for the fact that he's Russian. There's never been any evidence of him cheating at all. So I'm not suggesting that Bivol is also cheating or anything like that. But the relationship he has with all these people that I've put up here, they're all Russian. That's it. It's not the fact that you know, he's ever been close to cheating or he's ever had any links with anyone who's cheated or anything like that. Personally, I have no idea. But, you know, like I said, we didn't think Kovalev was cheating. We didn't think Povetkin was cheating, you know. And it's definitely worth talking about. Beterbiev, like I said, at his age, to have these elevated levels, to maybe hide behind injuries and postpone fights. I mean, why? Why has he postponed fights? You know, these Russian guys, why are they postponing fights? What's going on? A lot of insiders have spoken about Russia having specific, you know, tailored programs of steroid use of human growth hormone, you know, for athletes outside of boxing. So it's not as far-fetched as, you know, they may have you believe. Now, do I think it's true? Do I think there's any truth in it? I don't like to make any kind of accusations towards anyone. But personally, I think there's a lot of truth to it, because I think it's very unusual that Beterbiev have this atypical finding come up by VADA, which is not a common thing. He comes from a place where, you know, they kind of sometimes can be quite unscrupulous in their methods. I wouldn't be surprised. 38 years old, looking stronger than ever, no body fat, you know, looking ripped, just completely bulldozing through, you know, the likes of Anthony Yarde and Cameron Smith, people that have put their whole lives on the line, train like madmen all the time, and he's just walking through them. As he gets older, he's getting stronger. The likes of Tony Bellew has been quite vocal about this, and you could laugh at that and say, well, I don't respect Tony Bellew anyway, but yes, he was standing up for his fellow Liverpudlian, but at the same time, you know, Tony Bellew makes some good points. He said Beterbiev is 38, you know, he's close to 40, he's getting stronger and leaner and maintaining the same physique that he had before, and it's unusual. And you know, a lot of these fighters know little things that are going on because they fight. So we're on the outside, but they fight. They know how much you dip in strength after the age of 30, 32, 34, 36. It's very hard to maintain at 38. So I think there's something suspicious going on. I can't say for sure that he's cheating. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it came out Beterbiev actually failed a test and they found something in his system. I wouldn't be surprised, because it's very unusual to be 38 and, you know, to have 0 body fat, to be getting stronger than ever before. And just these postponed tests, why are these postponed? Why was his fight postponed with Anthony Yarde? Why was his fight postponed with Callum Smith? You know, it just seems a bit dodgy for me. Let me know what you think. Am I totally reaching? I'm totally wrong, and I shouldn't even talk about, you know, this kind of thing being a possibility. You know, let me know. But I am interested to see what people think. Leave comments, likes, share, and subscribe to the channel. But most of all, I really enjoy your comments, and I get back to all the comments. I am interested to know about anyone who's got professional insight into growth hormone and testosterone. You know, how likely is it that these things fluctuate? So much so that it would come up as an atypical test by VADA. Yeah, a lot of things, man. And it's a shame. If it was to be true, then this would be a travesty, because Anthony Yarde has put his whole life on the line, training for his family. Callum Smith, the exact same, only to be completely obliterated by a 38-year-old. So, I don't know. Make of that what you will. I'm on to the next one.
I said, guess who's back? Man, guess who's back? I said, guess who's